Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dukkham dukkha samuppadam dukkhassaca atikkamam ariyan cattangikam maggam dukkhopa samagaminanti. Homage to the exalted one, the perfectly enlightened one, the supremely enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, now today we are going to discuss the Buddha and his teachings. I think already you have some understanding about what the Buddhism is and who the Buddha is. Who is the Buddha?
Is it Siddhartha?
Is it?
Siddhartha? Is that his name?
Yes. Buddha's name is Gautama.
Oh, Gautama.
And how about his character? He's a human being or God or the messenger of a God or what did he explain to the world? Actually, the Buddha was a human being. He was born as a human being in this world 623 BC in India, presently in Nepal. By birth, actually, he was like us. And after he attained enlightenment at the age of 35, he became an extraordinary person because he developed his mind to the maximum level with compassion, loving kindness and wisdom. Then after 45 years as a Buddha, at the age of 80, he passed away as a human being. Here, that is very important to know the Buddha's character and also his teachings. When somebody asks you, what is your religion, what you practice, you should have an answer. And who is the Buddha? Actually, Buddha was a human being in birth, but after his enlightenment, while he was enlightened, and he eradicated all negative emotions, defilements from his mind. And also he developed his mind to the maximum level with loving kindness and wisdom. And also after he became enlightenment, in 45 years, he preached his Dhamma, what he realized, what he discovered. And Buddha explained to the world that how we overcome suffering, what is the nature of our life, how we achieve the final goal, which is happiness. Buddha understood the world, what happens to the world, and what is the nature of the human beings. And also, when he attained enlightenment, he realized the nature of the people. Most of people in the world, they do a lot of things in the name of happiness, but unfortunately, end of their life, they have lost their happiness. That is why Buddha explained the real way, how we achieve the real happiness. And also, Buddha's message is not his own message. He realized, he discovered the world reality. Buddha explained very clearly, a Buddha appears so not in the world. This sublime truth is forever. We respect Buddha because he discovered this reality by himself. But Buddha explained very clearly, this message that he explained, that he realized the Dhamma doesn't belong to even him. And also this message doesn't belong to even Buddhists. This message belongs to the people who are intelligent in the world, because this is the world reality. You know, in the world, we can see some creations and also discoveries. This building is a creation or discovery? This is a creation. And how about water, oil, gems, jewelry?
Discovery.
Yes, they are discoveries. We can create water, gems, or jewelry, or oil. They are the discoveries. Buddha's message also like that. It is a discovery. We respect Buddha because he himself discovered this message. Buddha said very clearly, whether Buddha appears or not in the world, this sublime truth is forever. But from time to time, this is covered by ignorance. And when Buddha appeared in the world, he discovered this message and he preached this message to the world kindly. And also, especially, we can see some qualities in Buddha's message. When we recite some stanza about the qualities of the Dhamma, Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. Swakhato means the Dhamma is well expounded, well explained. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko. Sanditiko means directly visible. Akaliko, immediately effective. Ehipasiko, calling one to come and see. Opanaiko, leading onwards. And Pacchattan Vedita, both to be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma, what Buddha explained to the world. And day by day, if we can improve our knowledge, we improve our intelligence, wisdom. And also, we are clever to see the world as it is. And especially, as much as we can study, we can learn what Buddha taught. We can understand ourselves, what happens to our body and mind. That is the main purpose of learning Buddhism. You know, all scientists, philosophies, and also other people always try to study outside. The ocean, earth, planets, galaxies, they are trying to study outside. But Buddhism always encourages us to study inside our life. When we realize, when we understand our life, we can understand the entire world. Because we see the world through our senses, through our life, through our eyes, through our nose, through our tongue, through our ears, through our body, through our mind. We understand the world. If we can realize, if we can comprehend our life, our six senses, it is useful to understand the entire world. And also especially we realize, we understand what happens to my mind. If we can understand our mind, then we can understand our entire life, and also we can overcome suffering, we can achieve the real happiness. And also Buddha explained the main reasons why we suffer, why we unsatisfied. And whenever we are suffering, whenever we worry, we are sad, it means our mind is polluted with three defilements, negative emotions. All unwholesome emotions can be included into three. Do you know what are the three defilements? It is very important to know. One of them is greed or lobha. Greed craving, lustful desire, big attachment, lover. That is one of the negative thoughts that arises in our mind which disturb our peace of mind. That is the first thing. We should be aware of our mind. What kind of emotions just now that I have? And also, the second unwholesome deed or defilement that generates in our mind is anger. Anger is the second unwholesome emotion or defilement which arises in our mind and which disturb our peace of mind. Especially, a lot of problems arise in the world because of anger. That is why Buddhism has explained to practice loving kindness at the very beginning on the path of purification, liberation. What is the next defilement that steal our peace of mind? Moha. Moha means, in English, ignorance or delusion. Delusion. These are the three unwholesome thoughts which disturb our peace of mind. And all Buddhist doctrines focus on how we overcome these three defilements. Our success, our happiness depends on how far we have overcome these three negative thoughts from our mind. Even though we are well educated, even though we are healthy physically, even though we are rich, we are not successful. If we are always angry, greedy, and ignorant, then we can see the beauty of our life, even though we are well educated. That is why, if a person who wishes main purpose of his life, happiness, that has to overcome these three defilements. We have to practice opposite of these three defilements. What is the opposite of greed? Practicing generosity. Offering something to others. Giving something to others. With pure hand, if you are clever to offer something to others, your friends, your relatives, innocent people, homeless people, if you can offer something to others, then we can overcome little by little our greed or big attachment. Generosity is one of the techniques that we can practice to overcome greed. Generosity. Not only practicing generosity, but we have to practice the impurity of our body, physical body. When we see our body outside, we have lustful desires sometimes. We have attachment. Actually, if we can reflect on our physical body as it is, we can overcome craving or lustful desire. And that is why Buddhism has one of the meditation techniques that we have to practice to overcome attachment or lustful desire, that is says as the contemplating of impurity of the physical body, Asubha Bhavana. It doesn't mean that we go away from the people. Actually, we reflect on the reality as it is. Some people, they have attachment when our physical body is very beautiful. When we are sick, when we have some problems in our physical body, they go away. First, when we are beautiful, they love us a lot. But when we are going to bed with sicknesses, then they go away. But if we can practice this message, we love people not only when they are beautiful, but we love them more when they are sick, because we practice compassion. That is the way. And also this is one of the techniques that we can practice to overcome greed. Yes, what is the technique that we can practice to overcome anger? Yes, loving kindness and friendliness, metta bhavana. As much as if we can practice loving kindness, then we can gradually overcome anger. Anger is one of the major reasons that is the cause of suffering. And as much as if we can overcome anger, Buddha said in his first one of the sermons, that Karaniya Metta Sutta, Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Again and again we wish others success, we bless others, and we practice loving kindness. As the practice of loving kindness, there is a result. In Metta Sutta it says, Mata yatani yam puttam. When we look at a people, when we meet a person, we consider that person as our only son or daughter. As the result of practicing loving kindness. If we have this attitude, actually we are clever to overcome more than 50% stress from our mind. Then our eyes are so pure and calm. We look at every people, every person with a compassionate mind, with a compassionate heart, kind heart. Then that is also very important. Buddhism has explained a lot of doctrines to practice generosity and loving kindness. When we see the society, we can see some people who practice generosity and also who practice loving kindness. They are so calm. Even though some people don't believe any religion, they practice these qualities. But it is not the special thing in Buddhism. Some people, when you are so generous, when you meditate, when you practice loving kindness, some people can say that you are a good Buddhist. You are a so fortunate person, you are a virtuous person. It is correct? It is not correct. Anybody can practice loving kindness and generosity. It is not the special thing in Buddhism. In a duration, in the time of a Buddha, the special thing is how far we have overcome ignorance. When the Gautama Buddha appeared in the world, there were some persons who had developed their mind with generosity and loving kindness to the maximum level. They had reduced their anger and lustful desire for 84 great eons. Mahakalpa 84,000. They had eradicated their anger and lustful desire for 84 great eons. But according to Buddhism, they were not successful. Why is that? They have to come back one day after they finish their karmic energy. In this situation, Buddha explained the important thing that we have to do to overcome ignorance. That is the identity of Buddhism. Because before Buddha appeared in the world, a lot of ascetic people had discovered the practice of generosity and loving kindness and some kind of spiritual development. But until Buddha explained the message, they couldn't understand the nature of ignorance. What is the ignorance that we can see that Buddhism has explained? This is the very important thing that we have to know. Okay, later, little by little we discuss, we will go to the deeper level. Here we explain in a surface level. Don't worry if you can understand. And this is a very short introduction, what Buddhism is. Okay? Ignorance means that when we see something, when we hear something, when we taste something, when we smell something, when we touch something, when we remind something, we may think that before that experience, that was here. After experience, we may think that experience remains. For example, when you came here, before you came here, you might think that I am going to the temple that last week I came, the same temple. And after you leave the temple, you may think that the temple remains. It is true, but it is true only in the conventional truth. When we go to the higher level, the ultimate truth, it is not true. We create the world when we open our senses. Every experience arises at the moment. For example, when you listen in the sound, before you heard this sound, it was not here. After you experience, this sound doesn't remain. This sound arises and ceases at the moment with the conditions. Our whole experience also like that. When we look at something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we eat something for taste, whatever we do, that experience arises and ceases. When somebody has blamed you, when that person comes to you, what happens to you? You may get angry. What is the reason? As soon as you see that person, your memory goes to the past. Not only going to the past, but your mind lives in the past experience. But now, that person may have forgotten that incident. But still you are in the past experience. You are ignorant. That is why suffering arises. If you are clever to understand, now I read my mind, not the real situation, then we can remember that incident, but we don't get angry. If we get angry, we are shy if we know Buddhism. Not only worry, but if we are happy about something, actually there also we can understand what happens to my life at the moment. And ignorance is explained in various ways in Buddhism. On the other side, when we experience something through our senses, for example, when we hear this sound, we may think that this sound belongs to these fingers, or this sound belongs to waves, or my ears, or mind. Does this sound belongs to these fingers? No. Does this sound belongs to my ears? No. Does this sound belongs to my consciousness? No. How about when somebody blames you? You may think that this sound belongs to that person who blamed me. That is the ignorance. That sound, what he blamed, arises from that person. But that sound doesn't belong to that person. Without that person, that blame doesn't arise. But that sound doesn't belong to that physical body. For example, you know Mr. Amaradeva, who passed away last week. And he sang a lot of songs. When we listen in some songs that he sang, we combine that sound to that person. After he passed away, we could see that person's physical body. That sound doesn't belong to that person. But without that person, that sound doesn't arise. But the sound doesn't belong to that person, or that sound doesn't belong to my ears or my consciousness or anything. If we can understand this reality with intelligence, that is the way how we overcome ignorance. For that, we have to practice wisdom. Wisdom is the invaluable gem of man in the world. Buddha said, Panya naranang ratanam. Wisdom is the most valuable gem of man in the world. Then, as much as we can develop the wisdom, automatically anger and greed are overcome. We don't have to effort to overcome anger and greed if we are intelligent, if we are wise in this understanding. And Buddha explained this reality. For that, Buddha has explained again and again, we have to do four things in our life. In your handout in the first page, the main purpose of practicing Buddhism is to develop our wisdom. When we are going to develop our wisdom, we have to fulfill four things. One of them is Kalyana Sappurusa Sansevo, associating with good friends who explain the Buddha's real message. Sometimes that good association be a physical person. Sometimes in the current society with the good higher technology, it could be a website. Sometimes it could be a book. Sometimes it may be a CD or cassette recorder. However, day by day we should have good association who explain the Buddha's real message. That is very useful to go forward. In this society, there are some people who have received their higher education after complete their doctorate. They sometimes practice Dhamma. Sometimes they go to Tibet. Sometimes they go to Thailand, Myanmar, India. Finally, where they go? Finally, they go to Sri Lanka. And finally, sometimes they ordain as a monk. Bhikkhu Bodhi, he was born here. He's an American. After he finished his doctorate, he went to India, Myanmar, and finally he went to Sri Lanka and living 40 years in Sri Lanka. He did a great service. He translated a lot of Buddha's doctrines into English, and also he came back to the USA. Now he is in the USA. He is a very world famous person who developed this message and who practiced this message, and also who is doing a great service to the world. And however, we have a lot of needs in our life. In the primary level, in the bottom level, we need the fundamental needs like food, medicine, protection. Those are the primary things that we have. Little by little we go upper level. In this level we may have protection. And we have to go away from fear. And in this level we have education. And also when we go to the highest level, the highest need of a person is self-actualization, self-liberation, actualization. After they complete their primary needs, the intelligent person wants to become the highest level in his spirituality. They need some kind of spiritual teaching. That is why some people find the spiritual teachers and spiritual guidance. And sometimes people who are very intelligent, while they are fulfilling their education and their employments, they practice some kind of advices from some religions. And also, especially in the current society, people practice meditation for their inner peace. Whether they believe or not the next birth, most of people in the world, they practice meditation for their inner peace, for their happiness. That is very useful not only for our mental health, but it is very useful, it is beneficial for our physical body too. And also we can fulfill our lot of wishes by practicing, by developing our mind with positive energy. And for that, the first thing is association with a good friend who explains the Buddha's message. That is very important, that we should have to fulfill our spiritual goals. Not only spiritual goals, but we want to fulfill our educational goals, employment goals. All of them should be completed by us by practicing some good deeds in our life, spending a virtuous life. And also Buddha said to fulfill our goals, the second thing is not only that we should have a good association through that person, we have to listen in what he says. That is very important. Sometimes we meet some good people who knows Dhamma, but we are not sensitive to ask the Dhamma what he practice. As intelligent persons, when we meet some spiritual persons, we should have a good conversation with him or her. We can ask some questions him. What kind of things that you practice? You know, when Buddha appeared in the world, Reverend Sariputta, before he became a monk, he was finding the world reality as an ascetic person. And when he was dwelling, he met a person who was an ascetic person and an enlightened person, a Buddha's disciple, Assaji. You know, Upatissa Paribrajaka met Assaji. Assaji became the enlightenment before Sariputta. And when he saw that Reverend Assaji's behavior, good discipline and virtuous life, he realized, he understood that person should have some kind of special thing. Then he asked, Bhante Assaji, who is your teacher? What kind of teachings that you practice? Your senses are very pleasant. Your behavior is so calm. What kind of teachings that you practice? Please let me know what you practice. Then Venerable Assaji explained what he practiced, the Buddha's message. After Reverend Sariputta asked what he said, actually he could attain the very first step of spirituality, Sotapanna. That should be our way. When we meet a well-educated person, please ask him what kind of techniques that you used when you were studying. And you can get some advice from him or her. That is very useful for our life. And especially when we meet a spiritual person, please try to discuss with him, ask him what he practices, what is his vision, view, understanding about the world. And then we can earn a lot of things from him. That is very important. The first thing is association with a good friend. The second one, listening to what Buddha taught through him. And third one, Yoniso Manasikara, wise reflection. Wise reflection, wise investigation. According to what we are listening to, we have to reflect on it again and again. When you are here, although you are listening very well, it is not enough. After you leave here, try to remember, try to remind what I am listening. Again and again, think it. As a wise person, we have to reflect on it again and again in our day-to-day life. Not only enough that you practice loving kindness here, when you drive, when you walk, when you do something, try to practice your mind. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When you go on the way, if you practice loving kindness, your lane automatically clean. It is very easy to go on the way. Actually, the practice in Dhamma is visible results. We have no problems on the way if we have a good mind, pure mind, with compassion and loving kindness. It is very beneficial for our day-to-day life, and also if we practice Dhamma, we meet good people, good friends, then we can get a lot of advice from them, we can get some benefits from them. When we develop our mind, be sure we meet the same people. When our mind is polluted, we meet the same people. When you drink, you meet the people who drink. When you rubbish, when you tell rubbish, if you tell rubbish always, if you tell lies always, then you meet the same people. If you steal, you meet the same people. If you meditate, you meet the people who are meditating. If you are clever to study, then you meet the very clever students in the classroom. When you are intelligent, when you are kind, you meet the same quality people. That is why Buddha said very clearly, the people who meet, the people that you meet is the same position that you have. Therefore, we have to develop our good qualities. And especially if we can practice Dhamma, it is very beneficial for our life. That last time you told me that Mrs. Manel is very so kind. Because you are so kind, you have met a kind person. Because you are generous, you have met a generous person. That is like our life way. And if you practice Dhamma, if you practice good qualities, you meet a person who is the same qualities. That is why we should go forward little by little with Dhamma. Not only listen, but we have to reflect on it again and again. On the other side, the fourth one, practicing the Dhamma. Dhammagaru Patipatti. Buddha said, Dhammagaru Patipatti can be divided into two. One of them is heavenly path. Heavenly path. Usgoda, how to go to a blissful life hereafter, after we die. The second one is the deliverance path. Deliverance path means Mokkha, and how to achieve the final goal, liberation, enlightenment. By practicing Dhamma, we try to practice these both ways, two ways. That is very important. In the heavenly path, we have to practice three meritorious deeds. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Generosity, morality and meditation. In this level, deliverance path, we have to practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, tranquility and wisdom. Then, these four things in first page, that is very important. Day by day, Buddha said our all successes of our spirituality depends on how far we have achieved these four qualities. That is very important. On the other side, we can summarize Buddha's whole message in a stanza. The second page you can see. I think Chelsea, you can remember this stanza? When you were in the Sunday school, you have read this stanza? Sabba papa sakaranam kusalassa upasampada sachitta paryodakanam etang buddhana sasanam. This is the message of the Buddha. This is the summary what Buddha taught. Sabba papa sakaranam, not to do any evil. Kusalassa upasampada, practice good. Sachitta paryodakanam, purify one's mind. Etang buddhana sasanam. This is the teaching. This is the message of all Buddhas who appeared in the world and who will appear in the world. This is the summary. Even though a lot of doctrines in Buddhism, finally, all doctrines can be included into this only stanza. Let's recite that stanza. Sambha papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampadam sachitta paryodapanam etang buddhana sasanam. You know, some Buddhist people use this stanza, this stanza for all of their needs. When they have some sicknesses and also when they have some troubles, they recite this stanza. Even they want to remove some krumi, some insects, when they cultivate something, if they want to protect their seeds and their plants from some animals, they chant this blessing to the water and they spread water to the plants. That is a very grateful, very powerful stanza. Not only words, but if we can practice this meaning in our life, actually we can see the result through our life. That is very important. Try to remember and try to learn by heart this stanza. That is very important. Page number 3, I have summarized all main doctrines in Buddhism. Okay, that is very important. As much as that you come here, we will try to discuss these topics little by little. If you can, I will give this handout to Aaron. Okay. Then page number 3, all main doctrines can be seen here. Little by little, we are going to discuss. If you have any question, you can ask. Chelsea or Mrs. Harkani.
You don't have a question. Any question?
Okay. Then after Aaron will come, we will discuss more things because I arranged these lessons for both of them. Then I think today we are going to end our lesson. But however, little by little, sometimes after Aaron comes, we have to discuss some things again. And this is very useful according to your interest, according to your dedication. We will discuss more things. But you have to do something, okay? Not only participation, but you have to dedicate some things for this class. We also work for you, and also you have to dedicate something for. If you dedicate your time and your effort for this class, it is some kind of investment for your life, for your future. Be sure. Your all wishes will be successful if you can practice these things. Be sure. And it is not beneficial for only next birth or for deliverance, for enlightenment. But it is very useful for your success in this life. Your education, your employment, your association. This is very beneficial for everything that you have in your life.
Your stress levels.
Yes, everything. If we like, we can fulfill throughout studying and practicing this Dhamma. You are so fortunate. You know, some people, they don't know even the Buddha's name. They know the name of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, but they don't know the Buddha's name. Some people don't know even a religion named Buddhism. But you are so lucky. This is the message for the people who are intelligent. This message doesn't belong to only Buddhism. This message belongs to every people in the world who are intelligent. Then if we can listen to this message, it shows our qualities, it shows our fortune that we received, that we lived in our previous lives. According to Buddhism, if we have a chance to listen to this message, it shows our previous merits. That is why we are here. That is why we have this opportunity to listen to what Buddha taught. And not only listening, but we should have good energy, courage, dedication to practice and see the results in this life. And especially, Asian countries, people, they practice Dhamma while they are studying. That is why they could go forward with their education, good employment. And it is so beneficial, especially for our education. And sometimes I have seen some monks who have more than 7-8 degrees. Sometimes they have more than 5 master degrees. Actually, as monks, we have a lot of things to do in the temples, from morning to night, while we are doing these activities. When we practice Dhamma, we can fulfill our own wishes. Not only education, our spirituality, we can develop everything that is very useful for our entire life. That is why we should practice this Dhamma. It doesn't mean that we have to worship Buddha. Actually, Buddha doesn't need anything from us because he has passed away. When we offer a flower to Buddha, our mind is pure. When we light a candle to the Buddha, we light our intelligence, wisdom. When we burn incense, we develop our heart. We cultivate our heart. By doing these activities, we develop our mind. We develop our happiness. That is why we should practice this message in this life. And also, as much as we can practice this message, it means we can see the result in this life, not hereafter. And also, we can fulfill our all good wishes in this life. And also, especially, we are clever to get the benefits from everywhere. When we respect elders, virtuous persons, our parents, it is a great blessing for our life. When Asian people, especially Sri Lankan people, even me, when we were going to school, we worship our parents. When parents are not at home, we worship their picture. And when parents were not at home, we worship our elder brother or sister when we leave the house to the school. Then it was a great blessing for us. And for longevity, good complexion, health, it is very useful. When we practice these qualities, we can see the result. But other people, non-Buddhists, they don't know these qualities. We are so fortunate. If we know these reasons which help us to go forward, we can practice it in our day-to-day life. We can see the result. We can get the benefit. That is why we should practice. When we worship a person, actually it doesn't need to that person. When we worship a person, we earn strength. We earn our qualities. We develop our qualities. It is beneficial for us. When you worship me, it doesn't benefit to me. It is beneficial for you. When we worship our elders, virtuous persons, our parents, we will receive the benefits throughout these activities. That is why we practice generosity, morality, virtue, meditation. All of these things are beneficial for our life. And also day by day, by practicing Dhamma, we should go forward. Okay? And now we are going to end our Dhamma discussion. If you have any question, next day you can bring those questions to the class and we can discuss in the class with your brother. Okay?
Thank you.
And now you came to the temple, very faith, and also you offered the candles, rings, flowers to the Buddha, and also you meditated, and also you listening to what Buddha taught. By the power of all these merits, now we are going to transfer the merits that we acquired at the moment to our beloved departed relatives too. That is also one of the customs that we do. Okay? Now you think your good activities that you acquired at the moment, by the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also receive these merits, especially your mom, your grandma, will receive these merits, and may she attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer the merits, reciting the Gatha. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. May they enhance their spiritual energy, and may they keep their eye on you too. May they help you to succeed your education, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti siddhya. Ettavata amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti siddhya. Ettavata amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sambha sampatti siddhya. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all educational goals meet with success. May all of us attain finally bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkhaṃ, bhayam pantāca nidbhayam, sokam pantāca nissokāṃ, anto sambe pipanino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May the Triple Gem bless you.